Today's innovation is understanding what drives fear-based news. The news industry is a money-making industry, an industry that doesn't always make it a goal to report the facts accurately. Gone are the days of tuning in to be informed straightforwardly about local and national issues. In truth, watching the news can be a psychologically risky pursuit.
Fake news. It comes from a 2004 letter to the editor printed in the Toronto Star. It says refugees in Canada receive more money from the government than retired citizens. It's not true. In fact, a retired Canadian is eligible for about double what a refugee gets, depending on the province. But you can still find the falsehood circulating online, even though the Star and the Canadian government debunked it. You should also know that Jagmeet Singh is not wanted for terrorism in 15 countries. Nor did the mayor of Dorval, Quebec, stand up to Muslim families who asked to take pork off school menus. He didn't do that. They never asked. And this website that looks like a local Quebec news site, it's actually an advertising revenue scheme based in Ukraine. All of this fake news seems to unravel with just a little bit of digging. So why do people keep falling for it? And how can you better spot it? First, let's get clear about the definition.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
Fake news has been used to describe everything from political spin to pranks to conspiracy theories, even to media outlets politicians don't like.
You are fake news.
I like real news, not fake news. You're fake news.
The fake news, the enemy of the people.
That's why researchers say we should stop using those words and instead say misinformation or disinformation. They define disinformation as the deliberate creation or sharing of false information to mislead people. Misinformation is the act of sharing information without realizing it's wrong. Whether it's a headline designed to sway opinions, make money, or it's simply just misconstrued, sharing this stuff can have real consequences. Misleading social posts shared in 2017 encouraged Haitian asylum seekers to try and cross into Canada from the US. WhatsApp messages like this one said Canada had invited all Haitian nationals in the US to apply for residency. It wasn't true, but for people facing possible deportation back to Haiti, it was something they wanted to hear. Researchers say there are a ton of reasons people share fake news. Some are just sharing stuff that they agree with. Some are deliberately making trouble. Others just don't know what they're sharing is false.
I do research on human reasoning and decision-making. I research essentially the science of human stupidity.
Gordon Pennycook says social media platforms prime people to be, quote, lazy thinkers.
Mostly it's just, pictures of dogs and babies and and things like that. And you might come across a news article, but you're not really in the sort of mode that you ought to be in when you're engaging with actual news content.
Among other things, his research looked at the effect of repeat exposure.
We basically showed people fake news headlines in the format that they would be on social media. And what we showed is that a single prior exposure to a fake news headline increases later belief in that headline, regardless of whether the person remembers having seen it before.
Now consider the convincing nature of a video clip. Check out this moment between Prime Minister Trudeau and Brazil's President Bolsonaro at the G20. Clips of it started circulating online with partisan groups saying it showed a, quote, awkward and pathetic Trudeau being snubbed on the world stage. Global News tried to clarify the disinformation by tweeting a longer version of the video showing that the two men did in fact shake hands. But you'll notice that the correct information didn't spread as far as the disinformation, and that, experts will tell you, is what's wrong with social media.
Ultimately, it's calibrated for engagement so that the more people are enraged and engaged and ultimately divided on these sites, the more they use them and the more they post and the more they share, which is ultimately good for the platforms and the business model of the platforms.
Taylor Owen studies the political impact of digital technology at McGill University. He says people should be skeptical of content that makes them angry, especially during an election year.
Pipelines, reconciliation, immigration, these things that we already know are in the popular debate, how are they being amplified? How are they being torqued by people trying to divide us against each other?
So what else can you do to prevent falling for disinformation? Well, be skeptical of what you see online.